really appreciate Adjit allowing me to play that video. I think it saved us all a lot of time. Images obviously are more helpful than words. For 4 years I've been using a lot of words, speaking to audiences like this, and essentially what I've said is, my job is an FBI agent, which is what I do day to day, the way I live day to day, not dressed as a soldier. I deal with a lot of stories similar to the ones we heard this morning. And the lady in the back, she used a term I often use, peeling back the layers of the onion. So everybody's got a story. So 9 years ago I left active duty, where I was a Green Beret at Fort Bragg, came to the FBI, didn't know anything about areas of concentrated poverty, hadn't lived a life like the lives that were described here this morning. I grew up in the farm fields of Iowa, working on a farm, had a good life. So about 5 years into the FBI, I realized, I'm seeing all these things as an investigator. I'm on the SWAT team. My SWAT team was at the prison riot. We were trying to get Miss May. We did not have anything to do with her release. It was resolved differently, so I can't be given any credit for that. But what I came to learn is that there's a couple ways we can do this. I can be an FBI agent for 25 years, handle one case at a time. They do their time, they come out. Hopefully there's somebody like Adjit to give them a second chance, or we can get them when they're that 10, 12, 18-year-old kid who just needs somebody to show them the way. And so God works through people. God's working through Adjit right now, and so many other people in this room. God's put us on the path. God's prepared you for the positions you're in, and God prepared me. And part of my story was going to war. And war is many things. It's ugly, it's nasty, but it's also a great education in how big things can be accomplished. So one of the things that I had an opportunity to just be a very tiny part of was building the Iraqi counterterrorism force. So we went over to Iraq, we took guys who'd never been soldiers, third grade educations, different language, different religion, different culture, and we treated them right. Golden rule in action, just treated them the way we want to be treated. Next thing you know, these guys who had been trained their whole life to hate us, they're like, this guy would die for me. And so then he's willing to die for me. And so this whole thing, you've been trained as a Green Beret, build rapport, which is essentially build relationships. You're trained, you're told it's work, then you go to war, and you see billions and billions and billions of dollars spent. The only thing that seemed to work was our little group of guys, night after night, going out, dangerous missions, doing it right, because of the relationship. So when I became an FBI agent, it was like, hey, I can build relationships. If I can build relationships with these guys, it doesn't matter what I look like. I'll just recruit the team and we'll go build relationships. So for 4 years, we've been building relationships with a lot of kids that come from bad neighborhoods. Either they're a shooter, or the brother's a shooter, dad's locked up. We build relationships. You saw a video of kids whitewater rafting. We got a group coming back today from a 5-night trip to Kentucky and West Virginia, rafting, canoeing, getting instruction in outdoor survival from one of the best guys in the business. So in a nutshell, the goal was to connect with creative, compassionate people like those at Second Chances Farm, like Adjit, and not just try to get by, help a few people, but see if we can harness the power of creative people and professional people and actually win. Because what I was kind of faced with 4 years ago as an FBI agent, again, is maintain the status quo. I'm surrounded by wonderful people, but we can only do so much in law enforcement as it currently exists, right? So you're either going to go back and you're going to meet that kid when there's a chance to change a life, or you're going to deal with the aftermath, the consequences. And thankfully, it's a multi-pronged approach. There's always going to need to be something like this to deal with people who no one was there when they needed them, when they were 12 years old. But at the same time, we need entities like the Green Beret Project that can meet the demand. And so where we came together a few years ago, because we believe in the power of workouts to build relationships, is Mr. George connected with a good friend of mine. Amazing part of my story, his story. A gentleman, there's another gentleman in the room, Saad Solomon, piece by piece. We all work together. So Adam's an ex-offender. So I'm an FBI agent. My best friend is Adam Kramer. He's an ex-offender. We work together hand in hand. He's leading the trip, the kids coming back from the camping trip. So Adam connects with Mr. George, and the conversation basically results in, we got space in this warehouse, we need workouts for the folks that are going to work here. We're saying we would love to do it. That's a perfect example of synergy, partnership. We have a lot of kids in this neighborhood who need people who love them, they need workouts, they need tutoring. And so essentially what happened was Mr. George said, why don't you take this space in the back corner, you put a gym in there, you can train our folks, build relationships with our folks, give them a positive outlet, saying come to work every day, work out, stay healthy, and you can also serve the kids in the community. So that's what has happened. Of course, when you don't have money, you just figure it out. So it's been a process. Now we have the money. Now, just in the last couple weeks, we've been figuring out which contracts are going to do the work. COVID, of course, slows stuff, but we'll probably see within the next 6 months, and that's hopefully quicker than that. Within the next 6 months, you'll see a CrossFit gym in the back corner, and you'll see kids in the community and people working here working in that facility. And appreciate you watching the video. I hope if you don't take anything away from this, there's no limits on what God can do. There's absolutely no limits. So, it all starts with a single step. I'm very excited to see where this facility is going to be a year from now, 5 years from now. I believe in the vision to do more of these. The Green Beret project started in Dover, Delaware 4 years ago with the goal of developing proof of concept. We're now throughout the state, and we're in Kansas City, and we're St. Louis, and everywhere I go, I see a need for this model. I go to St. Louis, and it's just abandoned building after abandoned building. I'm like, man, there's more places that we could put, franchises for the Second Chances Farm. So what is happening here, the demand is great, and I hope that we will continue to work with those before they get locked up, while they're locked up, and after they're locked up. And I used to make a joke when I started this. I just tell people I don't like to do paperwork, but the reality is, as an FBI agent, that so much of your work is futile. You know that the kid who's emotionally broken at 13, who's now your subject at 18, as soon as you get done doing your paperwork and he goes away, he's coming right back out. You're gonna have another case and he's going right back in. So there's so much frustration, the person who's wrapped up in this life that they don't want to live, and the people who are dealing with them who really don't want to handle the prosecutions. So it just really warms my heart to see creative solutions like this that make sense on every level, from compassionate to economic to developing the potential in our community that we so desperately need as a country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Justin. Bottle number 4 of our best of. If it wasn't clear to everybody, we are going to have in this community, in this neighborhood, a CrossFit gym that they are running as volunteers from the law enforcement community, that's open to all of our returning citizens and ultimately open to the folks in Reach Riverside. This is pretty exciting moment.